Africa, your first in housing news.
Welcome to Housing TV News. Glad to have you join us on Business News. I am Fisayo Salako. Here are the top stories. The federal government initiates 250 billion naira real estate investment fund. Federal Executive Council proposes 47.9 trillion naira budget for 2025. Google urges Africa to prioritize fiber optic protection by safeguarding infrastructure. Nigerian market dips as flour mill gains 10%. Now the news in detail. The federal government has approved the establishment of the Ministry of Finance Incorporated Real Estate Investment Fund with an initial capital of 250 billion naira. The fund aims to provide long-term, low-cost mortgages for Nigerians seeking affordable housing. Minister of Finance Wale Edun disclosed this during a Federal Executive Council meeting presided over by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. The initiative is expected to address the country's housing deficit of 22 million units while stimulating job creation and economic growth. Edun highlighted that the fund would blend government-sourced low-interest capital with market-rate financing, enabling mortgage interest rates of approximately 11 to 12%. The scheme includes repayment tenures of up to 20 years, offering a significant relief compared to current market conditions where interest rates exceed 30%. This move is also anticipated to attract private sector investment, paving the way for sustainable growth in Nigeria's housing industry. The Federal Executive Council, FEC, has proposed a 47.9 trillion naira budget for the 2025 fiscal year. The announcement came after a council meeting chaired by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu with Minister of Budget and Economic Planning Atiku Bagudu, providing insight into the medium-term expenditure framework for 2025 to 2027. Key assumptions include a crude oil benchmark of $75 per barrel, daily production of 2.06 million per barrel, and an exchange rate of 1,400 naira to the dollar. Bagudu noted that the budget aims to achieve a gross domestic product growth rate of 4.6% while addressing fiscal challenges through a borrowing plan of 9.2 trillion naira. He also emphasized the importance of sustaining reforms such as market deregulation in the petroleum sector and attacking efficiencies in oil and gas production. The proposed budget will be submitted to the National Assembly as part of efforts to finalize it by December 2024. Federal government, in partnership with the World Bank, has updated its compensation framework for land acquisition, valuing mature cocoa trees in the North Central Zone at 160,000 naira per tree and 160 million naira per hectare. Similarly, matured mango trees are valued at 105,000 naira per tree and 13 million naira per hectare, while cashew trees are set at 45,000 naira per tree and 5.5 million naira per hectare. Minister of Housing and Urban Development Ahmed Musa Dangiwa announced this rate during the 13th National Council on Housing meeting in Gombe. This updated framework addresses an 18-year gap in Nigeria's compensation policy, ensuring fair recompense of landowners affected by development projects. The revised rates aim to reflect current economic realities and provide equitable compensation. While these values cover the North Central Zone, a comprehensive rate card for all economic trees across Nigeria's 6 regions is forthcoming. Dangiwa emphasized the importance of this policy in balancing development with fairness and sustainability. Still on the federal government, the reliance on promissory notes as a debt instrument has increased significantly, with outstanding debt reaching 1.65 trillion naira as of June 2024, marking a 114% rise since President Bola Tinubu assumed office. This domestic debt tool, which serves to settle financial obligations without immediate cash, has become a critical mechanism in meeting government commitments. The Debt Management Office reports that this sharp increase has been driven by obligations such as exporter incentives under the Export Expansion Grant and debt to contractors and suppliers. As part of a broader trend, Nigeria's total public debt rose to 71.2 trillion naira in June 2024. With domestic debt accounting for a substantial portion, analysts highlight the need for sustainable fiscal strategies to address rising deficits, which surpassed projections, reaching 7.6% of GDP by August 2024. The federal government may earn up to 6.99 trillion naira monthly from crude oil as production rises to 1.8 million barrels per day. With Brent crude averaging $81 per barrel in 2024, this production level translates to $145.8 million daily or $4.37 billion monthly at an exchange rate of 1,600 naira per dollar. This development was announced by Mele Kyari, Group Chief Executive Officer of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, during a meeting at the Oil Production War Room in Abuja. Kyari highlighted the collaboration among stakeholders, including private security agencies, government regulators, and community partners, which enabled this milestone. The Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Ayinnekin Lopobiri, commended the achievements, describing it as evidence of the sector's potential to exceed the 2 million BDP target by year-end. The NNPCL is also advancing gas production, reaching 7.4 billion cubic feet daily, further boosting Nigeria's energy capacity. Let's take a short break here. We'll be back. Welcome back from the break. This is Business News. The Raw Materials Research and Development Council, RMRDC, is collaborating with Nigerian lawmakers to curb the importation of raw materials that can be locally sourced. A new bill sponsored by RMRDC, currently at its first reading in the National Assembly, seeks to enforce a minimum of 30% value addition to raw materials before export. This initiative aims to conserve foreign exchange, protect natural resources, and stimulate domestic industrial growth. According to RMRDC Director General, Professor Nnayelogo Ike-Monso, the policy is grounded in data from the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, MAN, and targets enhancing processing capabilities across sectors. MAN's Director General, Segun Ajayi Kadir, emphasized the initiative's potential to boost made-in-Nigeria products and deepen collaboration between the council and manufacturers, thus advancing productivity and raw material utilization nationwide. The federal government of Nigeria plans to raise 120 billion naira through its November bond auction, marking a 33% reduction from October's 180 billion naira. The move, announced by the Debt Management Office, DMO, reflects a possible shift in borrowing strategy amid improved revenue inflows. The auction, scheduled for November 18, 2024, includes two reopened bonds: the 19.30% FGN April 2029, open for 5 years, and the 18.50% FGN February 2031, open for 7 years, each valued at 60 billion naira. Despite the reduced offering, these bonds are expected to attract robust investor interest due to their competitive coupon rates and tax exemptions under the Companies Income Tax Act and Personal Income Tax Act. October's auction saw heightened investor demand, with total allotments surpassing 289 billion naira. This underscores a sustained appetite for government securities, especially longer dated instruments, offering higher returns amid inflationary pressures and tight monetary policies. Google's Charles Morito has called on African governments to designate fiber optic infrastructure as critical, urging them to implement stricter penalties for its damage. Speaking at the Africa Tech Conference, he highlighted the role of fiber cables in the continent's digital economy and the threats posed by criminal activities targeting telecom sites. Improved safeguards, he said, would not only protect infrastructure but also attract more investments. Morito also emphasized harmonizing regulations across countries to simplify fiber network expansion. With mobile internet access at only 27% across Africa, he stressed the need for streamlined policies to boost connectivity. Google's investments, including the Equino subsea cable, continue to advance broadband access and digital skills across the continent. Back to Nigeria, the all-share index ASI dropped by 0.19% on November 14, 2024, closing at 97,233.07 points. Despite the decline, Flour Mills of Nigeria led gainers with a 10% increase, followed closely by TIP and John Holt, which posted significant gains. However, losses were recorded by Abbey Mortgage Bank and ABC Transport, which fell by 9.77% and 9.45% respectively. Trading activity rose with 291 million shares exchanged in 7,931 deals, an 18% increase from the previous session. Access Holdings led trading volumes with 60.3 million shares, while Ohando and Zenith Bank saw strong investor participation in value terms. The market outlook remains cautiously optimistic, bolstered by solid third-quarter financial results across sectors. That's the much we can take on business news on Housing TV Africa, but before we go, here is a recap of our top stories. The federal government initiates 250 billion naira real estate investment fund. Federal Executive Council proposes 47.9 trillion naira budget for 2025. Google urges Africa to prioritize fiber optic protection by safeguarding infrastructure. Finally, Nigerian market dips as Flour Mill gains 10%. For more business news, subscribe to Housing TV Africa on YouTube and follow Housing TV on all social media platforms. Download the Housing TV Africa mobile app on Google Play Store and Apple Store. I am Fisayo Salako. Until next time, bye for now.
Visit Housing TV Africa on YouTube and click on the subscribe button. Subscribe to Housing TV Africa to stay updated on latest happenings in Nigeria's housing sector. Follow our social media pages, like and share our posts. On Facebook, Housing TV Africa. On Twitter, Housing TV Africa. Instagram, Housing TV